I got to see Rodney skate the first time you came to California, Oasis.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That was the first trip,
that was
right?
my first. I went as an amateur the year before. And but this was the first one, like where I was like, wow, the real pros, that was so intimidating for me. It was crazy. Yeah.
So he's the little kid for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh my gosh.
Well, you were probably 14. Maybe
I just turned
13.
14, 3 days.
Okay. So
did you move here or did you just get yourself down here?
Just flew out. I thought that was my last contest, all this drama. I'm this pigeon-toed little kid, all pads, the only like dork with pads on, like elbow pads,
wrist
everything,
guards.
helmet. And I had a Southern drawl back then. And so people like say, what'd he say? And so that was, anyway, that was the oddball at the time. Yeah.
But so, and Oasis was my home park. So I was at this event.
Okay.
And it was like, oh, I can see this kid from Florida.
So skateboarding's talking about him when he gets here. Everyone knows who he is.
Yeah. Well, once he showed up, once he started skating, so every skate park then had a reservoir.
Yeah.
Which
what he called the ditch?
Yeah. So it's basically a big flat area with banks all around it.
Yeah.
And that was also known as the freestyle area.
That's
right. And so at Oasis, there was freestyle area was way down below in the corner. Yep. And so he's skating. And I remember there was this buzz happening. And we, and for sure in that era and at my age, I didn't care about the freestylers. Right. I was skating the pools and hoping that Eddie Alguera was watching, or Dave Andrecht, or Steve Olson. Like anyone was even glancing an eye at me, right? And then there was all this buzz, so I went over and watched him skate and watched him do this flawless run. Never put his foot down. Everyone bails at least once. I mean, no one did a perfect freestyle run ever.
It's like this beginning of street skating when nobody could make a full run. And now
that's very similar.
Everybody just...
So he does every single thing, and the whole place is stunned. It's like, what just happened? And it was old school, I'll never forget this, old school scoreboard.
Yeah.
Like old school, like you would see it at an old basketball game, right?
Yeah.
And it only goes to 99. It doesn't go to 100. And then it just flashes 99. Because they couldn't give him 100.
I can't believe you still remember that, man. That's crazy. Yeah.
And then the contest is over and he leaves and that 99 remained on the scoreboard the whole day because everyone was so freaked out.
So you're 14 and you win easily.
He gets a perfect score.
And then and then you go home? Like, hey, that was fun, bye.
That's so without drama, it's just to say that I was told I had to give up skating when I got back home.
Your parents?
This was a last fling, quote unquote.
Oh, wow. You were going down there to do your last skateboard, anything.
That was it. And Barry Zaritsky.
Yeah.
Yeah. He stood up for, I remember this, again, bunch of drama. And so I was always supposed to quit. And he's like, Rodney, you can be the best in the world with me here at the contest. Think back then. Like, this was 1981, right? And
81,
like, for whatever, as goofy as that sounds, the best. You can be the best and just tell your parents, I'll sell my furniture, because Barry had nothing. I'll sell my furniture. It's wrong to lie to your parents, but like he would take me, weekend stuff, do demos, right? South Florida, whatever. And just tell them we're going down there. You fly out, you at least, and then you give up because at least you'll know. And that, I got to say, as the years pass on, right, that's decades ago. And you think, what contests you actually remember,
Yeah.
Like they're a blur. And that's the one, I think, even meeting Stacy Peralta, who is known to be the dude that coached you, right? He had all the winning.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Bring us to pasta the night before.
Yeah, all of the rituals.
Get your cops.
That's all the stuff I heard about. And, it's bigger than life. And you get there, you meet him, you're like, wow, that's Stacy Peralta. He comes to you, tries to coach you, comes over to me, he's like, hey, man, you seem to be doing your own thing. Just let me know if you need anything. I'm like, right on. Because Barry had got me through that. And I remember, like, he's always telling me, Barry's whole thing was, have eye contact with the judges. Again, just this is Barry's mind.
Barry.
Yeah, Barry.
I love that guy. It's just so awesome to know that he helped Rodney Mullen. Like, people don't know Barry for things like that, but that's legendary.
He's crazy kind of hippie at the time, I mean, the way people look at him, but there was a bit of genius in there the whole way through. and that heart of his. And somehow it worked out where Stacy called my house. I got to go. So I flew out for the weekend. It was all kind of legal in the sense my folks knew. And go out. I remember right before my run, I was like, man, 540 shove. That's one of the hardest tricks at the time. Like board spins like a lawnmower blade. And I remember just staring at the judges when I did that trick and then feeling it connect. You know that feeling when you're connecting?
Wait, you were looking eye contact in it.
Yeah. And to me, that's the thing, because I did it for Barry. Is like, whether I win or not, like, do the best you can do and do this for Barry. And I remember, like, when I remember feeling that, it's like when you land something, you're feeling the tug, right? Because you don't know what's going on, right? Just that instant. And I felt that little
I'm usually
tug.
looking at my board, Rodney, but...
And I remember feeling that tug where you got the rest of your run. And if you made that, you made your run and you probably won, right? And I remember feeling that tug staring at the judges. And I remember like, man, did that for Barry. And that's what mattered. So when you asked, Stacy didn't know. I didn't know I was on the Bones Brigade because I was on flow.
Flow.
And
like that was the thing.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a thing, but that's what we experienced.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I remember going back, we drove back to LA. Next day, I'm flying out of LAX. As far as I know, that's it for me. I made like a shrine. I put my ticket in the shrine at home. He gave me a patch. He's like, I was like, I'm really on the Bones Brigade. And he's like, he started laughing.
Oh, Bones Brigade patch.
Yeah,
the yellow one. Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
He gave me that patch.
Oh, there's an official you're on the team patch.
Yeah, and you're supposed to put it on your clothes, your jacket. If they give you a jacket,
that's right.
You're even like,
sick.
More in, yeah.
That's what that was. So basically, I went in, I took it. I didn't want to say, I'm not going to be skating anymore. But I just made a little shrine at home, gave up skating for like 2 weeks. By the time it seems like big time back then, like, they're calling long distance, right? I got this interview from some local rag, which was really just a zine. And by them calling from, across the country back then, he's like, wow, well, I guess you can't stop then. Stop now. So I got to keep
You
skating.
said that or your parents did?
My parents did. My dad. So
what
I got to
was
keep skating.
the original, why were your parents so against you skateboarding?
Just the thought. And that was the whole thing, I guess, jumping forward to TED stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you grow up, you do this, you're going to turn into a bum.
Okay.
And so get out of there. And yeah.
But also, you told me that on that first con, it was like, all right, you conquered this little goofy sport.
Yeah.
On to the next thing.
That's right. The more you won, I'm curious about, like, the more you won, in his eyes, it would only certified, because you're competing against bums. So whatever. All I mean to finish that sentence, the thought that by the time I come back to do TED stuff, one of the things that drove me is, you get older and I skate for my piece at night, but dude, I'm not what I was, obviously. And step behind, be cool, don't rot in public. And so doing the TED stuff, that just happened out of nowhere, more or less. And I remember thinking, you know what, man, I'm getting to tell all these like highly educated, like, we have respect for TED, that, hey, this is the way we do it. And you're listening. And that to me is like anything but a bum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what's kind of driven me lately. So it's kind of cool.